those in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. Okay, the correspondence.
We do have an addition to the correspondence as well.
Okay. What's the addition?
It would be a request on a property on Woodland Drive.
Okay. Okay, so the first part of correspondence, just the Kent Regional Service Commission report. The second one was the Eco Canadian Organic Inc. So that's just saying that they're up for their final approval, correct? Ashley?
Yes, yep.
Yeah. Canada Summer Jobs, we've been approved for 6.
No, 4.
What's that?
Am I on here?
Yes.
Okay.
You're there.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was 4 for Canada Summer Job.
Do you have the file, Nat?
6 students in all, maybe? 2 through the community museums and 4 for Canada Summer
Okay.
Jobs.
Okay, and Dale Langell. Did he donate the card to the village? He wants to, okay. Okay, number 6, Mike Beers. Customers at the May meeting, he is questioning if council will cover the costs, $2,000 for the surveying. He couldn't obtain a permit to build his multi-unit on Beatty Street. And he was informed by the commission that this is mandatory. So we talked about this at the last meeting. So do we need a motion on that now, or?
I'm totally against it.
Becky,
I can't see, am I on or not?
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah.
I can't agree with that because I know we're gonna be putting the sewer rates up for all our residents, but yet we're gonna give money away and we just don't have that kind of money to give away.
Yeah, but he's gonna give us an extra 12,000 a year.
We still have that extra money on top of what he's gonna give us.
I'm going to make a motion to
could I just say
approve the
something?
request.
Oh, just go ahead, Elaine.
Yes, okay, just a question on that. He's already started that, so what I don't understand, it says he cannot obtain a permit, but he's already started the construction.
Yeah, but he already got it surveyed.
Foundations in.
He couldn't start the construction till he got it surveyed.
Okay, so he went ahead and did that.
Oh yeah, he's going ahead.
Okay. So,
That's
but he got his permit, everything is in order that he would be eligible for our program grant, right? He'll be eligible for that.
If he has his permits in place and he gets his final permit and submits the request, he would be eligible for it, yes.
Okay, because it just looked like he couldn't he cannot obtain a permit.
He couldn't, no, the thing was, when he bought the property, he was first informed that he would be able to have the 2 on. And then when he was going in for the permit, then Vincent told him, no, it had to be under a condo license. And that's why he had to go get it subdivided.
But he got it all fixed up.
Well, he went out and surveyed it and got it going, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. So
But
he,
he's asking, like, where it wasn't a foreseen cost, like it was not supposed to be there, that's why he's asking to see if there's any help with the village.
okay.
The contractor, he must have known when he started that had to be subdivided.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about economic development, Joey.
I know, but no.
Well, no, but it's easy enough
How
to
can
say you're
How
gonna have
can we
that money
give money like
anyways.
that
This is
away
most-
and then we're gonna
Point of order. Before we have discussion on it, we should have a motion, and I made the motion, so we should get a seconder.
I'll second it.
I agree with Joey. I think it's we should pass on this. Will we be doing the same thing for Joel's new apartment building?
Hopefully.
What's the motion?
So Al made a motion that we would pay the $2,000
And I second it.
and Elaine seconded.
Survey up to $2,000.
So now we have a vote.
I say nay.
Nay,
So nay, 2 nays?
I say yes.
Yay,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, I'm the tiebreaker vote, and I say yes. Motion carried.
I'd like it in the minutes that I was against it.
Of course,
Me too.
you and Billy will both be showed as against it.
When the votes are always recorded when there's a split vote.
Okay, perfect. UNMB, so the trade show is canceled and the AGM is gonna be on Zoom. Is
Yeah.
that correct, Al?
Yep.
So they'll give us sign-in details when the time
Oh,
comes?
yes, that's gonna be one big screen.
Okay,
Where, like, so will we be doing it for home or we'll be able to go to the council?
You'll be
chamber?
able to do it from anywhere, yeah.
Okay,
But they have to do an AGM. In their bylaws, they have to do an AGM, so.
right.
So it's going to be on Zoom or whatever we'll be on by then. It could be eWeb or Google, whatever.
okay. Okay, request for property?
Just a sec, I'm just still noting the decision from before. Will he submit if he's already done the surveying, will he submit the invoice or how?
Well, I'll talk to him, or I'll tell him to contact you and see what it is.
And will he
But like,
still
even if-
qualify for the economic development grant?
What's that?
And will he still qualify for the economic development grant?
Yes. That's,
If he meets all the criteria, I suppose, yeah.
Okay, so the next correspondence is something I received today. I'm going to read the letter. Dear Mayor and Council, I have entered into an agreement of sale with Norma McNairn for the purchase of her residence at 5 Woodland Drive, Rexton. It has been brought to my attention that the existing garage is encroaching on Woodland Drive. The existing garage was built by Gordon King, who was a previous owner to Norma between the years of 2002 and 2007. Vincent Daigle from Kent Regional Service Commission says Gordon King had a building permit for the garage, but did not build in the correct location. Vincent Daigle says at the time, the village of Rexton did not want to spend the money to fight Gordon King in court to have the garage relocated. I am asking to acquire the portion of land from Woodland Drive so the encroachment could be eliminated. A subdivision plan will be prepared and the legal expenses paid by Norma. The required parcel is triangular in shape and has an area of 5.4 square meters. The outermost point of the triangle is 1.89 meters or 6.2 feet from the property line. Thank you for considering my proposal, as the sale of this property is dependent on eliminating this encroachment. So I spoke with the Service Commission on this issue because there's several things. It's encroaching our road, but it is also an issue from the past where a permit was issued. The garage was not built where it was supposed to. The inspector issued a work stop order, and I'm waiting for copies of the permit and the work stop order. I don't have it yet. But that council did not pursue. So originally our options were that the garage would have to be demolished or moved. Originally the owner had wanted that it was okay, but I did not feel comfortable in doing that. So I spoke with Jean, and he is saying that if she is willing to create a subdivision on that property, council could transfer that part of the land to her, and that would take care of the encroachment situation. In addition to that, they're also crossing an easement for NB Power and Bell, so that would be also an issue that we would have to deal with. So I have a meeting with Jean tomorrow to discuss how we would go about that. But I think the first step to rectify that would be to discuss if council wants to give that portion of land.
So what's now, so what's your feel on that? It's that corner of, it's part of Woodland Drive that they're over on.
Not that big, is it, Ashley? Like a couple of 6 feet or something? I don't have an issue with it.
5 square meters.
5 square meters? Yeah, not that big.
No. There's no way the garage could be moved where it's over the NBTEL line, isn't that, that's the first thing.
It's definitely a bigger issue, in my opinion, than the encroachment. I would not want to put the village with any exposure to legal consequences from Bell or NB Power.
No, they would still have an easement there. Wouldn't they even know the property was owned by somebody else?
But it's under the building.
The easement's under the building, but the lines aren't.
Oh,
But they're gonna have to, that's something, from what I understand, they already had someone from Bell lined in as a locator to locate the lines and, but that they're really, I'm thinking they're gonna have to decide what they're gonna do and that will,
yeah.
what we're gonna do.
Okay.
But if it does, if they do allow it, is the council have appetite for it?
If they allow it, I don't see it being a problem. If Bell is okay with it, and who else was involved?
Just us, Bell and us.
Just Bell and,
Bell and an NB Power easement.
okay, well, if they're okay with it, I don't see it being a problem.
I agree, if there's no problems with NB Power and the Bell Alliance, as far as transferring that piece of land to that property owner,
Yeah, they would need to get a written letter from Bell Alliant and NB Power to make it okay.
Billy, what's your take?
Yeah. Yes, that's fine.
Joey?
Yep, we're giving to everybody else. Might as well give some to her too.
That's right.
Well, I mean, she has to get the letter from NB Power and Bell because they're the
Yep.
two main people.
Okay, so once we see what they're doing, then we'll go from there?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Outgoing correspondence. Guy Tremblay. Just saying that bylaw comment's not gonna be open this season. And the bylaw enforcement officers.
Yeah, they had just requested that I resend the correspondence for a motion that we had passed.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, can I have a motion to follow the correspondence?
I'll move.
Moved by Elaine, seconded by
Second,
Al. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Incident reports, unsightly premise.
So I included that in your reports, but as of right now, I'm gonna let Brent in here.
It's in the report. We went and looked at the property, but the property in question, and it's untidy, but it's not dangerous or unsightly, but we referred it to the bylaw enforcement, so they were going to look into it.
Okay.
Okay, just on that, isn't there someone living there in that camper? Is that allowed?
No.
no.
Actually, they can stay there, but not year round.
So it's not hooked to the sewer though, right?
It's not, no.
No.
But he is paying a sewer bill.
Yes.
It's untidy sometimes, but usually he cleans it up in the fall before he goes to Florida.
So Where are we at with that? So it's not under the unsightly premise. We're good?
It's being taken care of. The bylaw enforcer is just going to issue a suggestion or a warning, but no fines.
Okay. Property taxation.
I just put that in there. I'm getting a lot of calls on the property tax bills this year. The province did a reevaluation. And because we did our rural plan in 2012, it's triggering a lot of the properties along our main street. It's not really an issue that the municipality can solve, but I just didn't know if residents were reaching out to councillors as well. So if they are, I've included the reason why their property tax has gone up so much this year. It's not really in relation to our tax rate, but you can always refer them to the office or Service New Brunswick if they have any issues.
Okay. Very good. Any questions on that?
No,
Okay. Public Works report.
My report's in there. The only, just to add to it, would be the Babine paving, like at St. Anne, as you read in the report, they're not in business anymore. They're making asphalt, but they're not doing paving. So I had to get another price to do the extension, the work you wanted to do on the Sunset Drive extension to widen the street. So that quote's in there. So that's up to your discretion of what you'd like to do with that.
Okay. Any questions for Brandon? Oh, sorry.
I might as well keep going, I guess. So, and the utility, which will probably come up later in Ashley's report, that the cost was in there to do the station, the repairs to Sunset Drive station. Like I said, it'll probably come up later in her report, but there's the price from Moncton Plumbing to do the work, and then we have to add a little bit to for the back-on truck to do the cleaning of the wet well and that when we're doing the work, and be on standby to keep the levels down while we're doing the work. So you're looking an estimate. It would be on top of the 28,465. It would be probably best to put about 32,000 to be safe. So that's in there also. And last item on would be the Gabion baskets, and I think that's probably in. I don't know if it's in Ashley's report. I was going to have it for the meeting, but to fix Sunset Drive, we're looking between, and that's a budget figure of 90 to 100,000. So that's my report.
Okay, any questions for Brandon Public Works?
Just on the lift station.
Okay.
32. So if we do our sanitary sewer, that's part of it, right?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, if we do the sanitary sewer, like were we not doing all the lift stations, like up? No. Or would
No,
that?
this is just repair the Sunset Drive.
This is just
station?
repairs.
Yeah,
to get us
just
through
repairs. Yeah,
Oh.
repairs that are needed, like
Okay.
ASAP. Like we were hoping to get money to replace the stations,
That's
but
right.
everybody's aware that we're not getting that apparently. So this is something that we can't put off really any longer, because we're running out of time on something serious happening, and that's not something we want. So
Okay. No, I just wondered if the big project went through, that was included in it.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's included in it. If the project came through, it would be totally replaced.
Right.
That station.
Yeah. The station would be. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yep.
Okay, fire department report.
So my report's in there also, unless I don't really need to add anything to it unless there's a question on it.
Any questions on Brent's fire report? Okay, thank you, Brent. On to the bill. excuse me one second, Ashley, you can run this part.
The only thing I had under bills is that we received the 10% holdback invoice for modern construction for California Road last year. So that would have been accounted for in last year's budget. So we would just need to release the funding to them at this point. And then there'll be another 5% funding, 5% holdback that we would release towards the end of this year.
You need a motion for that?
Yeah, if you would make one.
So move.
A second.
We lost Randy.
You can take over if you want.
Okay, all in favor? Signify
Aye.
by saying aye. Against? Motion's carried. What's next on the agenda? Oh, he's back.
Okay, sorry there, guys. Okay, curling club.
Grilling Club. So I provided the club manager with a report on the ceiling again. And I was speaking with her today. They're looking at meeting with council maybe in the next 2 weeks to discuss the roofing project. I don't know if there's a time of day or a day in general that most people would be available.
Are we doing it on Zoom or at the curling club?
So you could potentially do it in the curling club
Yeah.
as long as you maintain social distancing or wear a mask,
Or wear a mask?
because it wouldn't have to be open to the public. So you could be indoors.
When do you want to do it, guys?
I was at the curling club meeting this morning and they did talk on that. As I know, there's only going to be 4 from their committee that will be at the meeting.
Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be no problem to meet. What day?
I think they wanted a little bit of time because they had a few questions on why they wanted to put aluminum soffit instead of vinyl soffit.
Okay,
Karen did mention that to me and she asked if it would implicate insurance, but she asked me that this afternoon, so I really haven't had a chance to look into it, but I can reach out to the consultants to.
Because the aluminum soffit is much more costly than the vinyl.
But
so
that's,
The aluminum soffit is much more costly than the
yeah,
vinyl would be.
sure.
so Joy, do you want to touch base with them and see when they want to meet?
Well, they said it was up to us.
Yeah, she just told me to pick a day within the
That-
next 2 weeks.
They would like to have it within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so let's say what's the next week's the 15th to the 19th?
Yeah,
What have we said? Well, we did this. What we said like the Tuesday after that.
so 16th,
No, 23rd.
23rd,
23rd.
23rd? Yeah, I'm good.
Evening or during the day?
Don't matter to me.
It's all awful.
evening works best for me, but
Evening
Evenings are
works
good
better
you,
for me
Joe?
too.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, you know, whatever's good for you.
Yeah, evening's good then, perfect. So let's say 7 o'clock.
Sure.
Elaine?
That's good.
Yeah, that should be all right, the 23rd.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll reach out to their manager and if she can get her committee to confirm, I'll send out an email to everybody.
and they'll give them enough time to, because you say, Joey, they want to review some stuff?
yeah, like, I guess it was Howard that was kind of looking into it, and he said that he couldn't understand why they were going with the aluminum soffit.
Okay,
His understanding when they were first there and looked it over, that it was going to be a vinyl soffit.
right.
And he said he did price the strapping and vinyl soffit from Kent just to get a price on it. And there was quite a big difference. alone with the
Okay.
vinyl than it was with the aluminum.
Might be something to do with the building code and fire code.
Well, it could be. That's what I said. Like, I know they did say at one time that if you were building a garage, they didn't want you to finish the inside of it with vinyl siding. They said it should be
Yeah.
done with heat drop because of fire insurance, but whether that's what this is or not, I don't know.
Okay. Well, they can do some searching into that and we can go from there.
My understanding was Howard was gonna talk to somebody and see, because I think he seemed to know one of the guys who was up there or whatever, and he would find out what the reason was.
Okay.
Yeah, Howard was there when we had the engineers there. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Utility.
Randy, you might have more to add, but I had just been in communication with Dominic LeBlanc's office. They're hopeful that some infrastructure money will come our way and that the projects are looking like they could be funded up to 90%. I haven't heard anything else since I've sent them in all of our information. And just to add to Brent's repairs, I've looked into the budget, and although we don't have it budgeted for this year, we do have a reserve set up that we've been putting money in that would be able to fund that repair. Secondly, we could use gas tax, but typically we like to use that on roadways. So my first recommendation would be to pull from the reserve.
You need a motion on that right now?
Not to pull from the reserve, but if you want to move ahead with the repairs as recommended, a motion for that.
Okay, so do we have a motion for that?
So move.
Okay, moved by Al, second by
Second.
Elaine, that we proceed with the necessary repairs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. So then, but you don't need a motion to take it out of the reserves, correct?
We would only do that after we would process the billing.
Okay, very good. The tall ship,
I have nothing new to report.
Paul Lock Common,
I've advised the Department of Heritage that we will not be opening, but I did tour the grounds with Brent, and we do have quite a bit of repairs. So where we received half of the operational grant, we will be using some for the public works student, as they'll be doing a lot of maintenance up there. But also I requested that we be able to utilize some of that funding on general repairs down there. So I just included some pictures in your report of things that we are going to get priced out. And we are plan on fixing as much as we can with that funding, so we can resume operations next year.
okay, the rezone. So we have to do, this is for the,
So we need to amend the bylaw. So for the first reading, you would read the bylaw in your package in its entirety. And so you would have a motion of council for that. And then for the second reading, you only have to read the title but a motion on the title.
okay. So for the first reading, bylaw amending bylaw 12-01, bylaw to adopt a rural plan of Village of Rexton. Under the authority vested in section 117 of the Community Planning Act, the municipal council of the Village of Rexton duly gathered adopts the following. Number 1, bylaw 12-01 entitled bylaw to adopt a rural plan of Village of Rexton is amended in order to change the current zoning from community to residential multifamily (RM) to permit the construction of a new one-story apartment building with 8 dwelling units attached and an attached garage each unit. The property PID 251-27648 is located on Centennial Avenue West in Rexton. The said bylaw is amended by deleting paragraph 1.3.1 of the bylaw thereof, substituting the following. 1.3.1 for the purposes of this plan, the municipality is divided into zones delineated on the lamp, constituted 0B hereto, and entitled zoning map of Village of Rexton, hereinafter zoning map, and dated September 2012, amended as indicated in Schedule B-2, included and part of this document. I have a motion to approve the bylaw reading.
So moved.
Moved by Billy, second by Joey. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, reading number 2. Bylaw amending bylaw 12-01, bylaw to adopt the rural plan of the village of Rexton. My motion to approve the reading.
I'll move.
Moved by Elaine, second by Al. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just a reminder that we have the third reading scheduled for Thursday night at 7 via Zoom. And as of right now, that's the only thing on the agenda, and that would finalize the rezoning of that property.
This Thursday?
Yes, yep. It was in your council packages.
At what time?
7?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. F, students.
We've advertised for public works labor students and a museum student that would fall under the museum program. So we've had a few applications picked up, and we will do interviews most likely next week.
Okay, bylaw enforcement.
We're in the process of getting some tickets made for when they issue warnings or fines, so that that can be reported to council. And I'm just wondering if we've thought any more about the appeal committee as recommended by the bylaw officer, or if you guys would like me to have the bylaw officers present at maybe our next meeting to have some more information on how they work, how the appeal committee would be formed, and the processes.
Yeah, I don't really agree with another committee, but if they would like to come to a meeting, it would be good.
Okay, so I'll have them come.
Yeah, it might be a good idea.
Okay. Okay, super. Anything more for bylaw enforcement, Ashley?
I don't have anything now.
Okay. Banners.
So the banner should be ready this Thursday, and I don't have the invoice yet, Joey, but I should. Mary Paul was going there tomorrow, so she should have the final pricing for everything.
And where were we getting them?
They ended up coming out of Miramichi. It was quite a bit cheaper.
Right, okay.
Is it gonna, do you know if it's gonna cost us more than what we had planned on at first, or if it's?
No, I think it even came in a little bit cheaper because St. Louis also ordered like lawn banners from them. So I think they gave them a better price.
Okay.
But I'll get that information and get it out to council.
Okay, open reports, new business.
Natalie is looking into sending a small gift to Sealand Power Sports and Equipment that's located in the old Faro building. And then we've just been in communication with a few new developments that should be going through summer and fall. So the development of the apartment complex on Beatty, the business at 151 Main Street. So that's the old location of Dream and Time Antiques. He's anticipating opening in mid-June. And there's the development of the apartment complex on Centennial West Avenue following the rezoning. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, business park.
I advised the business at 107 Enterprise of council's decision in regards to the pipe. So he is going to let us know if he wants to move ahead and purchase it. I haven't heard anything else since. I also met with Dustin Hudson of Flag Point Construction several times. He's considering purchasing land within the Village of Rexton Business Park. So we reviewed a lot of plots, locations, and discussed the services that he could access, like the sewer and the water. And I discussed the economic development incentive with him. And then actually today I received a letter from the business, so I'll go ahead and read that now. So, hi Ashley, to further our conversation regarding the purchase of a lot in Rexton Industrial Park, here's a summary of how we intend on using this land. Our excavation company that does groundwork and landscaping would be using this land to build a garage that we would intend to use to store, repair, and park our equipment at while not on job sites. This garage will most likely be used as an office for our business to store our records, take payments, and do paperwork at. We hope to also have materials for sale at this site, things that people in our area may need for their outdoor projects, such as mulch, topsoil, gravel, etc. For our offer, we would like to purchase a lot for $5,000 and have the village pay for the cost to survey these lots. Please reach out to us if there are any questions or concerns. Thank you. So I have the map here. I'll just show you guys which property they were looking at. I don't know how well I can do this, but. So here would be the main street. So you would come into Enterprise and they're interested in this lot back here. So it's almost across from K&L Repair. And when I look at it's not subdivided yet, so it's not surveyed. It's all one PID number. But what they're looking at is almost about 1.7 acres. And based on the guidelines from what we usually sell, we would typically ask 6,800 and they're offering the 5,000.
And they want us to pay for the surveying.
Yeah, we had done that for the previous purchasers in the business park just because, well, as an economic incentive, but also because the lots aren't pre-surveyed. It's all one PID number.
Right.
So at the time we felt it was to our advantage as well because it was our property.
But you're saying this property now should be worth 5,800?
6,800.
What's that?
How much do you say this property should be worth?
So based on what council usually sells a lot for is $4,000 per acre.
Yes.
It's not surveyed, but based on the map I have, it looks, it's estimated at 1.7 acres. So that would work out to about 6,800.
68?
Yeah, 6,800.
So what we should be getting for the property you're saying is 6,800 and they're offering 5,000?
Yes.
And we pay the surveying.
That's their request, yep.
So now, are you guys gonna do a motion on that, Ashley? Are you
What's
gonna
that?
discuss, are you gonna decide on something on that tonight?
That's up to council.
No, but what I'm saying, so maybe Al, you take over the meeting, because she's my niece, so it'll be a conflict of interest, and you guys can discuss it and decide what you wanna do.
Okay,
That's
Perfect.
good.
I'm going for a drink of water.
okay. So who wants to make a motion?
Well, if we sell it for 5,000 and then survey it, we ain't gonna be getting much money.
No, but we don't have to sell it for 5,000. That was an
No,
offer he
that's
made.
with the offer. No, I'm just saying.
So if you
if
make
we-
a motion that we sell it to him for 6,200 and pay for the surveying.
But the surveying will be probably, what, 3,000 or 4,000?
I don't have a quote on it because the request just came in today, but based on when we surveyed the 107 Enterprise, it was around between 2,000 and 3,000.
Okay, so if it's 3,
I think we should get a quote first.
yes, I would
Know
get a quote.
exactly what our survey is gonna cost us, and then we'll know what we want for the land.
Yeah, or we can get the 68. We need the
Or
68 for the land and
Tell them the cost of the land is 6,800.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
Or-
And then pay the surveying. That's what we did for the others. I agree with that.
So somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second it?
I'll second it.
Do you want to say what it is?
Yeah, can you
Joy?
say the motion?
We will sell the land for $6,800 and we will survey it. We will pay for the surveying.
That's still a good price for land.
Oh, yeah,
For sure.
it is. Nothing wrong with it. Just explain to him that the piece of land he was looking at is 1.7 acres, not 1 acre, and that's the value. the 6,800, that's all.
So if he comes back and says that he's just going to take the 1 acre, then do we sell it for the 4,000? Because it's not already surveyed, so it's, he might decide that he wants to take less.
Yeah, if he decides that.
Yeah, if he, well, because that is the price we've been selling for, is 4,000 per acre, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
you would have to-
Anyway, we better vote on the motion first.
Yep,
All in favor, signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
all right,
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried. So
I
if he
have one
comes
more
back and
question.
says that he only wants an acre, then he can have it for 4,000 and we will do the survey.
Does council want a quote on surveying before we proceed?
I think really we should.
I would like one, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was gonna be more than 4,000, so, well,
Would,
it's still worth it down the road, but I mean,
For tax
nice to
base?
have people in your business park. You get money out of that. So.
But we have to make a
But we're
little,
giving it seems like we're giving everything away.
Now I know.
you're
But,
generous.
but we get it back in the end, though, Bill. Yeah. There's a payout at the end.
Long term.
Yeah. That's what we're in it
Okay,
for.
so that's all set up?
All done.
Okay, perfect. EMO,
It's in my report.
okay, any questions on that?
No.
Okay, next council reports. My report submitted. Any questions?
The meeting, Randy, is that with Paul Dastu, is that about the sanitary?
Yeah,
sewer?
about her sewer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I harass him as much as I can. I'm supposed to, now, I don't know when, but I'm supposed to have a call with the premier here in the next couple of weeks. So once I do, if I do, I will let you know.
Mayor, your meeting on May 15th with Human Resources, what was that about?
Well, maybe Al's the chair of that. He can maybe, elaborate
Was
on
he
that.
at that meeting?
Yeah, well, that's right, you weren't there, sorry.
We held
But I will tell you,
We held 2 meetings, and it was just to discuss our operational plan on our return to office.
Yeah. All the good stuff like the sanitizers and the face masks and spit shields and all that good stuff.
I heard today there's a new case in Moncton.
And yeah,
Yeah.
travel related. We're not out of the woods yet, Billy.
No, and I don't believe we should be opening our borders.
Well, Mr. Higgs is looking after that.
okay, Al, your report?
Yeah, we had a Zoom meeting. It was a funny Zoom meeting. It was me, Blackville, Doketown, Rushabuckto, and but for zone meetings, it's the same all across the province. Every zone is having the same problem getting people to show up. So
But
anyway,
were we
it's just one of
notified?
those things. I sent it out through Ashley. I don't know if she got it in time. I sent it out through the administrators.
We weren't notified of it though, Al?
Yeah, you were.
I never got it.
You
I didn't
it,
get
but
one.
I didn't notify every member of every council. I sent it out to the administrators to notify
Oh.
the councilors. So if it didn't get out, it didn't get out. But that's how it's done. We go through UMNB and they send it out to the. There was 2 came back, I think, from Minto and somewhere else. Anyway, I need to get a whole bunch of email addresses so that I can send out the next one. Everybody gets it.
Okay.
And
Any
then
other
we had our regular meeting that was supposed to be in Fredericton. And actually, it was quite a productive meeting, but that's where we found out the Zoom meetings on Zoom are no different than Zoom meetings in person. They're not well attended.
Anything else for Al? Okay, Billy?
No, I had nothing to report.
Okay, Elaine?
My report is there, just the health care, the Rexton Area Health Care Foundation. We had a meet by Google, and we discussed the strategic plan and our ability van project. Our AGM is planned for June 17th at 6 by Google Meet. And anyone that will be, you can go join it if you wish. Yes, and I just put that note in there about the activities at the ball field. There will be no organized activities until further notice. And Chamber of Commerce, we're having a meeting on the 15th, I believe, by Google. And
Not doing Doodle, are we?
no, Google. Aren't we doing it by Google, same thing?
Yeah,
Google Meet, I
okay.
think.
Google Meet.
I think so.
Okay.
Or as far as I know, it's on the 15th.
I don't like that doodle thing.
No, okay. And that's it, I guess. Nothing else there, no?
The Historical Society is not meeting this summer due to the fact that the museum is not open, so we won't be having any meetings either right now, Elaine.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just put it on
I
there.
will let you know when we resume them.
Sounds good, thanks.
Any other questions for Elaine? No? Okay, Joey?
I didn't send in any report. Like I said, I went to the curling club meeting this morning, and I guess I already told us about what happened there, so.
Okay.
They're wondering, like, $80,000, like, seems to be a lot of money to put into a ceiling, and they're wondering if we're gonna pay, or like, I said, well, we don't have $80,000 to put in it for sure, and they don't neither.
No, that's right.
But they want to get something done, like they want this meeting within a couple of weeks if they can, because according to what they've been told, the plastic has to come down this year.
Mm-hmm.
Going to start to rot the wood that's on there. If this has got to happen and the ceiling's got to be dried and then it's got to be sanded, and if they're going to put soffit up, they got to have this ready for the fall when they start, and they're getting worried about that now. So they'd like to get going as soon as they can and decide what's going to happen.
Okay. Okay, so, yeah, so we'll meet in the 2 weeks and go from there.
Go from there.
And with that timeline, are they going to look at some other options of how to reduce the cost, or find out anything?
They didn't really say. They did, like, Howard had a sheet from Kent that he had priced the exact amount of soffit, the exact amount of strapping they needed. And
Mhm.
it was a lot less money than what they had quoted. Another thing he was wondering too is, are they gonna do we have to have them send a man there to watch when this is done, to make sure that it's done right? Because there's quite a charge for them doing that, I think, too. And they're wondering if that has to be done. I said, well, I don't know.
It just all depends on the procurement policy, and if the village is taking on the work, and it would be the process of tendering it out, and if we're using borrowed money, reserved money, that's how we determine if we need a engineer involved or not. If the village decides to not use the recommendation by Crandall's and price it out on our own, it is an option.
Anyway, that's some of the questions they're gonna have for this meeting, is they want to know some things like that.
And Karen did send me a list of questions, so I will get the answers for her on those before the meeting too.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, can I have a motion to adopt your reports?
So moved.
Moved by Billy, second by Joey. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
New business, environmental trust fund. So
over the past few years, Crandall's has been doing, and adaptation plans for climate change for municipalities. And last year they secured funding, and the village of Rexton is entitled to $31,000 to complete a study to identify and assess risk associated with climate change. I've included all of that in my report, and I included Renee's proposal. So I don't know if council has any discussion or thoughts on if they want to move ahead with doing that. It's in line with the GNB objectives for climate change planning that was introduced in their 2016 action plan. I know in the past you guys have used environmental trust fund money for the Gabion baskets. Right now, that is not one of the criteria that you can get funding for. A lot of it is for studies, and usually following studies, you can access more government money to go after the projects that you want. But it would also help the council and in partnership with Crandall's to talk about or talk to residents about how they can better prepare their property themselves for climate change. So it's not always falling on council to fund those types of projects. So that aspect of it I found very interesting, but it's open for discussion.
So we don't have any real place to put that money right now. That, like, that's, you said it's going to be more for the planning stage.
Well, the 31,000 would cover the plan. And that's what it's approved for, is just for the study. Like, we wouldn't be able to use it for any infrastructure.
Any infrastructure. Okay.
And it wouldn't cost us any extra.
No, not based on the proposal she sent, no. And we would follow that budget.
So do we see a value in not doing that right now?
Well, if it's money that we're getting to do that, if it's available now, it may not be available later. We can't use
Okay.
it for anything else, and we.
So do you need a Ashley to move ahead on that? Okay, so what's the direction of the council? So do you want to do it?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, moved by Al.
I'll move. As long as I would put in there that we're not going over that amount.
So I'll second it then.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Up to that amount, no more. Moved by Elaine, second by Al. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. Asset management.
I just included some items that maybe we could discuss in a planning session of just current infrastructure that we have that are, it's looking like we're going to be up to some big projects and just repairs and maintaining some of our infrastructure. So for right now, it was just to point out some items, but I thought maybe a planning session before fall so that we could discuss some of the big items and prepare in our budget for them.
One thing I have a question on, like the curling club, their chiller system, how long is the shot, like how long until they need that done?
I mean, we replaced some of it a few years ago, so I have that on my item list to talk with Karen about, but I know it was an item of concern for them, so I'm assuming that it's going to come up as a request, but I'll get some more information from her.
So as a realistic view, for $120,000 for the curling club, what's, this is going to have to be a very hard conversation with them. Perhaps they should take up croquet or what?
Racquetball.
What's that thing they play down in Richard there?
Pickleball.
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 Pickleball, yeah.
It probably would be more people.
Yeah, it might.
A lot less costly. But like realistically though, like that's something at this meeting, that's something that's, they can't just have pie in the sky hopes if their numbers keep going down.
I know.
What was it?
Everyone else's feel on that.
Just on the chiller, I thought too, we just replaced that like for.
Well, that was really the Band-Aid. That was just like a condenser part of it or something like that.
It was the condenser.
Yeah, like this whole unit, like everything else, if you were to replace the whole thing, I believe it's like 150. And this year is just more or less Band-Aid fixes.
Yeah.
I think if we're gonna put that kind of money into it, like, they're gonna have to come up with some of that money. There's just no weekend. We don't have that kind of money to throw into it. And unless they start raising some funds their own, like, they're not making any money.
No, they're not. They're
And
not.
like, I don't
And
think,
it's always falling on the taxpayers. Everything's going up.
I don't think we can keep supporting it at that price.
No.
No.
So then what will, like, we're gonna meet with them in a couple weeks. There, we'll put some thought into it, but like at that meeting, we're gonna have to have like some very frank conversation with them and make them realize that, you know, this may be a teetering point.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing if they had 500 members and, you know, but that's, they don't even have enough members to play every night that they're supposed to.
No.
I think last year, I believe they had 86 members.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? And not many of them from Rexton.
No.
Oh, the writing's on the wall.
So,
It's on the ceiling, Billy, actually.
Either that, or they're gonna have to put their price way up for people who want to curl.
oh, well, that's it. It's like, it's gonna have to be something.
I know they are cheaper here than most places are.
Yeah.
Like, they're either gonna have to start raising,
And they're afraid to put the price up because
or
then
they're gonna have to start doing something, bring some money in, because we can't keep doing this.
Well, the thing is, like, they've had it pretty good where, you know, we're always picking up the bill so they can, you know, for them, they're more concerned about having members than making it feasible.
Yeah.
But
So the
we'll-
membership fees here are quite a bit cheaper than elsewhere?
Yep.
Okay.
okay.
They did raise them a little bit last year. Not very much.
Not very
No.
much.
Okay, so yeah, the other projects there. So when do you want to plan a planning session? Like September or October?
September for sure.
Okay, before our regular meeting? Or
We
some
could,
night?
we could plan, or we could pick a date at our September meeting. It was just something for you guys to have on your radar.
Okay.
Okay, everybody good with that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Bonnell Common. So are they doing any more of that restructure work this year?
I'm gonna reach out and get some prices, and see if the same contractor did the work last year, if Heritage would be okay if we move forward with the 3 walls and to eliminate the engineer involved. I'd have to get approval from DTI for that, but it would cut down the cost significantly. So I'll see if I can get approval from the province for that, but no definites yet.
Okay. So next on the list, the 5-year designated plan.
I've reached out to Crandall's just to see if they would prepare us a new one, but it'll be the same thing that we submitted last year.
Okay. Okay, so the next bylaw reading is going to be June 11th, 7 o'clock. Okay. That will be a quick meeting.
And then just for you guys to schedule your summer meetings.
When do you want to skip, July or August?
Don't matter.
Don't matter.
We're not going to be traveling too far.
No, I don't think.
I know.
Why don't we do August then?
So July's out and we're doing August.
No, we're going to skip August. We'll do July. We're going to skip August.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Very good. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.
I just, I want to follow, you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just want to apologize. I had trouble with my computer, so that's why I had to do the phone thing. But anyway, sorry about that.
No worries.